thebarlive.com, Pugs Moran Show. PMS, your daily dose of PMS each and every, well, we haven't figured Mondays out yet, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from noon to 2, we're going to be here. Podcasting, broadcasting, narrowcasting, webcasting, whatever it is that we're calling it. Check us out on Facebook. Please like the page, The Bar Live on Facebook. Here's how you do it. If you're on your Facebook page and you're searching, The Space Bar Space Live. Not all one word. Not like a website. Just The Bar Live on Facebook. Find us there. Like the page. And just a programming note to each and every one of you who may be regulars here to the Pugcast. Hey, look at that. Hey, coined a new this is the Pugcast.
I like that.
Yeah, it works.
Sounds really good.
It does. For those of you who are new to the Pugcast, is this working? Am I talking into the wrong side here? You would think after almost 20 years in radio, I'd know what side.
Yeah, you're good.
Can I get a little more on my headphones? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the Pugcast on thebarlive.com. A little bit more. I like it loud. That's good. That's good. All right. The Facebook page. Like the Facebook page. And as I say, throughout the course of the show, if you are a normal daily Facebook friend of mine, where I will be posting periodically throughout the day, moving all that over to the Bar Live page. So if you're checking me out on my page, John Pugs, at least during the show, if you want to contact me, if you're having problems with sound or anything like that, feel free to instant message me on Facebook. Feel free to post up on the Bar Live website, or I should say Facebook page. Any problems you're having, because this is a work in progress. Yesterday we understand there were some issues with the sound and how we were feeding it. So I'm hoping that everybody is getting this loud and clear. Listen as well at thebarlive.com, and you'll find everything there. You can download the podcast from thebarlive.com, Jimmy Ryan.
Yes, and that is actually a different feed from now on, so we're going to be able to get 2 different types of audio feeds for anybody who's kind of keeping up with that whole thing. Okay,
all right. So, yes, we are right now. We're streaming directly to the web, and you can watch us on the video cameras. Hi, everybody. Don't know if you're seeing that live. Now, was that live? Well, like if I went, hi, everybody, and waved, that would sync. Yeah, it would sync up. It would just be like 3 seconds from now.
Yeah, it's on a bit of a delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's very confusing, all this time-space stuff. Delays and what have you. All right, Jimmy Ryan is here with me. He is the chief engineer of this little outfit that we've got going on. How are you, Jimmy? How was your night?
Doing great, man. Kind of uneventful. I ended up, I do a dubstep show on Tuesdays. So.
What is dubstep? Now, I think I know what dubstep is, but maybe some of my friendly listeners out there are lost.
It's like a type of electronic music that focuses on bass. So it's a ridiculous amount of bass. A lot of people say that it sounds a lot like robots having sex. So.
Okay, I can see how that would be appealing to someone.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a hard sell for people that aren't into it.
Is this the genre of music that kid Skrillex is really big in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I love it.
Skrillex is like the biggest superstar in the world that no one over 30 knows.
Yep, it's totally true. It's the oddest thing because he's the first guy from the U.S. to really kind of make it big, and he's like 10 times bigger than any of the original people.
Yeah, he's like Justin Bieber in certain circles.
Yeah, it's insane.
What kind of people are into the dubstep scene? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about people who enjoy the ecstasy? We talking about people who like to take some acid and just go dance their butts off all night?
Yeah, it's those people, and then also, especially at the Skrillex shows, I was talking about this yesterday. One of the weirdest things about going to a Skrillex show.
Have you seen Skrillex?
Yeah. And you know, it was great, but there's this.
It's a guy and a band, right? Isn't it both? Isn't he Skrillex? He calls himself Skrillex, but it's also just the all-encompassing name for the people that perform it, or him performing it, or whatever.
Well, he's a lone DJ. He used to be in like a kind of like an emo band.
Yeah. And
that's where like he kind of got started. But now whenever he goes on tour, it's usually just him and like a couple other side DJ acts that will be there as well. But
so weird. I bet you if you gathered up my 5 closest friends, not one of them would know who Skrillex is or would have ever heard of him.
Yeah, and it's really weird because like I still notice that if I'm playing this music, like people will look at me as if either like what the hell was that, or is that man on drugs?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Jimmy is terrible. I'm sure you like it, and I think you have good taste, but it's just, to my ears, it's just terrible.
I understand that, but I think that is necessary. I mean, like, the entire time that I was growing up, when I was like,
it's like hanging around a construction site and just starting to dance. That's what it's like. It's like just racket.
No, but exactly. I think that's exactly what this generation needed, was like finally a type of music that separated themselves. And even if it is a bit ironic, you know what I mean? But that never happened. When I was like a teenager, my parents liked the music I was listening to. I mean, like, as I was growing up, they were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And that never happened for a generation. Where
and
it was
that upsets you, doesn't it? Because you're the guy who says you still want the rock stars to be just bags of crap, destroying hotel rooms, backward masking suicide notes to people. You want that. You want every negative connotation that goes with being a rock star. You want that to come back, and you feel it's lacking.
I do. I think that whole scene is just kind of like dying off because there aren't people that are willing to do that. I mean, like, you are really kind of paying for the entire experience of music, and that's supposed to be part of it. They've forgotten about
the Maroon 5s have killed it for you.
They have. The Maroon 5s, the
corporate
Nickelbacks.
rock.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, so you got a dubstep show. What is that if people want to check that out?
It's on Tuesday. It's on Deep Ellum on Air. It's basically a show that we do from downtown where we bring in DJs, mainly local, but a lot of times we'll have people in like that are on the middle of their tour or something like that. And they'll do like a 2.5 hour mix. So it's just like all types of music.
So it's not talk.
So,
it's music. You're just engineering it and putting it together, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and we'll talk over it for minutes at a time and then get right back to it.
Like, what's an average dubstep song? How long? 3.5 minutes?
Yeah, about 3.5
chorus,
minutes.
Verse, chorus. Yeah. I know the rules to traditional pop music. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, this doesn't really abide by those ruls, so it's all over the place.
No,
it's very random.
Yeah. All right, well, very good. Dubstep. Trying to stay young, I guess. Gotta get down with the Skrillex.
Yes.
What's his deal? Is Skrillex like a sex symbol, or is he a gay guy? Because I assume that because of that whole scene that he's new and he's gay, because everybody's gay now. Everybody is gay now. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. You know what? I don't know. I don't know if he's had like one of those well-publicized relationships or anything like that. So it's only a matter of time. I suppose.
He probably date one of those famous ugly chicks. You know, like an Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Or, like a Gaga. It's like, they're famous, but
yeah. No. Like an ironic date.
Yeah. He wouldn't date like a girl from a Hooters. He probably wouldn't be into that.
No. He's definitely going to be into one of like the hipster type girls.
Yeah.
One of those.
Glasses.
So, we'll see. Yeah.
Glasses. And glasses are cute. But
yeah, they are cute. I'm glad that those are actually coming back.
They are coming back.
Yeah.
They really are. I watch a lot of porn, Jimmy Ryan, and there's a lot of porn stars wearing glasses now.
Is that where, like, they do say that porn leads the way?
Sure does.
Is that also with fashion?
Well, yeah.
Whatever they're taking off before.
I think, yeah. Whatever they're taking off. Women watch porn to find, fashion tips. The clothes they're watching what's laying on the floor, not what's on the bed.
Girlfriend walks in. What's that? Oh, that's a nice dress. Yeah.
No, you know what else has made a comeback, though? And honestly, this is the one thing that I can say that porn has a direct influence on female pubic hair.
Yeah, that's true.
When the porn stars started shaving it all around the mid to late 90s, everybody started shaving it all. Well, guess what's hot now in porn? Girls with a little hair down there, au naturel, although trimmed up.
I blame Sasha Grey.
Yeah, she was the first. Yeah.
We went to the Adult Video News Awards,
and she was weird because of it. Remember when you first saw Sasha Grey, you were like, "Whoa,
yeah, what is that?
What is she from the '60s?"
She ended up getting asked about that during this like press conference. It was the weirdest thing watching a porn star do a press conference. But people were asking questions of her, and that ends up being one of them. What made you decide that you're going to go completely, untamed or whatever? And she started making it into like a girl power type thing, and I was like, oh no, this is really going to turn into something. I can tell that she's actually starting like a movement here.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at
Oh,
all.
I do.
Oh,
I
you
do.
do? Really?
Yeah, that's no good.
Well, look, I don't want like, you know, what Marilyn Monroe probably had, you know, which was probably as John Travolta's was described, wiry and unkempt. I bet it was just insane. But there's a happy medium. There is, you know, I do not and never have liked clean shaven.
Oh, really?
No, I don't. That doesn't look natural to me. It doesn't seem. I like a nice kempt, natural area.
Okay, so nothing that, you know, looks like it hasn't been taken care of at all.
No, the lawn has to be cut.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Nothing more than like, say, I like, you know, I don't want hair.
Right.
But maybe like a nice
little
outgrown
design.
stuff. Yeah, a little design. I also don't. Actually, you know what's funny? I was just gonna say I also don't like the racing stripe. That was, you know, it went from crazy unkempt bush to racing stripe to all kinds of strange designs, diamonds and whatnot, to nothing at all.
Yeah.
And then Sasha Grey comes back and it's just.
Right.
It's just there. It's just like and she was unkempt. That was her
Yeah.
thing. It was just like, look at this, you know? And it was shocking and it was interesting and all. But you know what I also think about Sasha Grey? And this is why I'm not a Sasha Grey fan. We've talked about this on the air before. I'm not a fan of the Lolita genre. And that's what she is. The Lolita genre in adult film is a girl who's over 18 but who looks like she could be 15. And there's just something... I don't even want to go down that path. You know what I mean? I don't even want... And a lot of these girls will pose with pigtails and a book bag, and it's just so... Man, I like a woman. I like a brick house woman.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to go down that trail and realize that you need to out-extreme yourself each time.
Exactly. No, it's kind of creepy. So I never really liked that. I like large breasts, you know, and typically the Lolita genre is flat-chested girls.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like a girl in pigtails. Man, I want a chick with a weave. You know, I want a chick with, you know, Pam Anderson flowing porn star hair. But then again, you know, I'm a 40-year-old guy, so.
I didn't realize that that's how she would be categorized, as Lolita.
Early on, yeah. Well, now it's getting harder and harder to do that because she's probably like almost 30 now. You know,
and all of her innocence is completely gone to anybody watching.
Yeah, it's gone. But she did. She looked young. She was one of those young Lolita types. And
Yeah.
we used to do a show with that John Toll guy, local comic. Don't know where he is now. I think he's down in Austin. But he used to like this. He used to tell me to go look at this girl, Little Lupe, because it was his favorite.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about, yeah.
And I refused to because he was describing it to me, and I'm like, I'm not going to look that up. Look, if I stumble across it, fine, but I'm not going to go look her. I don't want it on my computer. You know, I don't want there to be a search for me. Porn, little. No, I don't want that in my cache. I don't need it. I'm not interested. But he pulled up a picture of this girl, and I lost, not that I had a whole lot of respect for him to begin with, but not only did I lose respect for him, but I started to wonder, what are you, how far are you willing to go with this? This girl, this adult film star who is, I guess, quite famous. I mean, she's all, you've heard of her?
Yeah, well, she's really big on 4chan. So, like, on 4chan, they'll make a lot of references to her.
Yeah.
So.
Her whole bit is that she looks like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And this dude's
and
like...
she's been doing it for a really long time,
Yeah,
too.
she's like 30 now. Again, she's another one of these that's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But she has braces. She was pigtails, book bags, knee-high socks.
Oh, man.
It's borderline criminal.
It really is.
I mean, you can't... What are you fantasizing? You know, I know we don't have a thought police. This is not, this is not a dystopian world where George Orwell writes the rules. But if there were thought police, everyone looking at Little Lope should go to jail. Everyone should. Because I know what you're being turned on by. You're being turned on by, it's just creepy. All right, speaking of what people are turned on by, yesterday we got into the John Travolta story. For those of you who may not remember John Travolta, we reported yesterday that there's a guy in L.A. who was hired by John Travolta to give him a massage, and apparently John Travolta wanted a little something extra. And I yesterday told the story about how here in Dallas, Kelly and I have someone we know who had the exact same situation with John Travolta happen about 10 years ago at the Four Seasons out there at Las Colinas, where John Travolta ordered a hotel massage. The person came to the room, and then John Travolta made these advances towards him. And we talked about this, and Brandon, who was sitting in with us yesterday, was giving him every benefit of the doubt, which is, he's playing devil's advocate, I hope. But I was trying to connect the dots that, if this story came out yesterday, and the original story that Kelly and I heard was 10 years ago, and the stories mirror each other, and they're not in the same city. They're in totally different parts of the country. You have to start to wonder, in those 10 years, what has he done in between? I am of the opinion that this is what John Travolta is into. He is into risky gay sex.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I forget what documentary it was that I was watching, but apparently, like, there's people that when they're basically considered like sex addicts, that's what is that trigger point that lets people know that they've gone too far, is the risky behavior type sex. Yeah. So I mean, it really does paint John Travolta as being, like we were saying yesterday, really creepy. Really creepy.
Yeah. Yes. And it's funny. I was talking to Kelly last night about this, and she texted me. Let me see if I can read the text. She wasn't going with she didn't really pick up on the creepy thing. All right, here it is. Here. No. She said, hold on. Here, we'll find it. All right, so she texts me last night at 10:30. Funny how Travolta's lawsuit is totally false. Please, it's exactly his profile. The most surprising thing is he wanted a threesome with a starlet who wanted double penetration, which means he wanted to have sex with a girl. So Kelly is maintaining that he's not fully gay. And then she says, and I still love John Travolta. To which I had to counter, wait a second. Think about this. You can love him in his movies. I love Michael Jackson music. Right. I mean, there's some great stuff that Michael Jackson did. But we got to separate this. John Travolta is a creep. If these stories are true, he's a creep. So let's say I love John Travolta in movies. But let's not give him the benefit of the doubt, because all of the stories that we're hearing are that this guy he uses his position to intimidate people into having sex with him. Calling the one yesterday in the charges a loser who didn't understand how Hollywood worked.
And that's the part that makes me unsympathetic about this whole thing. If he was to just be kind of like, hey, man, you into this? And then that turned into a story. But the fact that he was actually trying to use who he was.
He's berating the guy, too.
Yeah. So I mean, that makes me completely unsympathetic for the fact that this has turned into a whirlwind.
All right. So we've established, at least through Kelly and my contacts, that there was an incident in Dallas about 10 years ago. We know that the incident in Los Angeles took place just the other day, but look at this. On the heels of yesterday's story, someone else in Atlanta, no less, has stepped forward. Here's what it says. A second accuser, another male masseuse, filed a $2 million sexual battery lawsuit against John Travolta Tuesday morning and claims to have substantial documentation and numerous witnesses regarding the substance of Travolta's actions. According to the documents, by the way, this is exclusive to RadarOnline.com, the second alleged victim is also being represented by the same lawyer as the first accuser. And, I mean, that's how you would do it. If you saw this story break and you saw that there was an accused, you would reach out to that person's lawyer and say, hey, look, I got it too. Let's go. I mean, so the fact that he's using the same lawyer, some people go, oh, see, no, it's not. If you had a similar, you would contact the same lawyer who's already involved in the suit.
And if you think about it, almost any situation in the world, people always wait for one person to do something and then fall in line. Because
Herman Cain is a good example of that.
Yeah, because you don't want to be the first person.
No.
You don't know what that person's going to have to go through. Once you see somebody do it and you're like, oh, I might be able to keep a little bit of anonymity, you might be able to pull something like that off, and you want to go for it.
And it's like you see this happening with somebody else, and you see the story, and you're sitting at home in your apartment in Atlanta, and you're going, hey, I got the exact same story. I should let them know. If Travolta's going to try and countersue this guy, I believe what this guy is saying, because the same thing happened to me. You would reach out as a material witness to that lawyer to say, hey, look, I'd like to lend my name. Now, he's got his own suit with the same lawyer, but still, so what? I mean, it's looking to me like, now, I imagine that the floodgates are about to open on this. I imagine that people are going to step forward. All right, let's get to some of the details of the second victim. The second alleged victim is also being represented by the same lawyer as the first accuser, and in the amended complaint, both are now suing Travolta for sexual harassment as well. As was previously reported, Travolta is being sued by an unidentified male masseur. Is it masseur? I spelled that wrong. Male masseur for, for assault, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. According to the lawsuit, the masseur tried to carry out a deep tissue massage, but Travolta had removed his draping and was masturbating. Travolta's penis was fully erect and was roughly 8 inches in length, and his pubic hair? What was his pubic hair?
Unkempt.
Wiry and unkempt. Yeah. Hey, that's the new morning show here at the Bar Live. Wiry and unkempt. Mornings. Check them out.
Zing.
It says here, where are we? His pubic hair was wiry and unkempt. Also describing Travolta as saying that he had sweat pouring down his neck. Oh. And he asked the plaintiff again to say something nice to him.
Oh.
Say something nice to me. All right, Travolta's sweating. He's on the table. He's fully erect. He's masturbating. And he's saying, say something nice to me. Say something nice to me.
Jesus.
Mr. Carter. Travolta's rep vehemently denied the initial sexual battery lawsuit that was filed on Monday and said in a statement, "This lawsuit is complete fiction and fabrication. None of the events that claimed in the suit ever occurred. The plaintiff, who refuses to give their name, knows that the suit is a baseless lie. It is for this reason that the plaintiff has been identified without a name, even though it is required by law to do so. On the date when the plaintiff claims Travolta met him, John was not in California, and it can be proved that he was on the East Coast. Plaintiff's attorney has filed this suit to try and get his fifth. That's my attorney guy.
That was good.
Yeah, that's my crooked attorney guy. Your Honor, please, John Travolta wasn't even in California on the date in question. That's how it would go. John intends to get this case thrown out, and he will sue the attorney and the plaintiff for malicious prosecution. Now, that's all just intimidation right there. Right. They're trying to get the guy to back down. But now he's got another dude in Atlanta who's going, hey, I'm going to sign my name to this. These lawyers are barking, but there is absolutely no bite behind it because John Travolta tried to get me to masturbate him. And I know that. Let's see here. The unidentified male masseur is being repped by the same attorney who filed, this is the new guy, who filed the initial sexual battery lawsuit against Travolta. According to the lawsuit, which was filed Tuesday morning in federal court in Los Angeles, the second victim, here are the details, this is the good stuff. The second victim alleges that while working at an unspecified resort in Atlanta on January 28th, 2012, that's just a couple months ago.
Right.
And I believe the other one also occurred in January.
Wow, so these are just the recent stories.
He started 2012 off with
And your friend was when? Like how long ago was that?
Like 10 years ago. Yeah,
so this could have been a 10-year run.
Yeah. So let's see who else pops up.
Yeah.
Because you know as well as I do, you don't do something 10 years ago and then suddenly decide to try it again twice in 1 month 10 years later.
Yeah. You don't just wake up and say, oh, 10 years ago was so great.
It's what he's into.
Yeah.
Look, it's what he's into. And people can be into whatever the hell they want to be into. I don't care what people are into, but don't be a dick about it. You know, you don't start berating people and, you don't grab a dude's crotch.
Don't get right to saying say something nice to me while you're ferociously taking care of it down there.
Here's what I was wondering about. Oh. Yeah, right. Say something nice to me.
Oh.
Say something nice. Tell me I should have won the Oscar for Michael.
Because who needs sleep, really?
Yeah. Why? Here's what I don't understand. If I was he's a celebrity, so maybe I do understand it. But why wouldn't he just hire a gay prostitute to do this? Why is he seemingly trying to hire legitimate masseuses at legitimate resorts and high-end hotels and all of this stuff? Does he think that his star power will... I mean, it seems so risky.
Yeah, and I think that he, especially if he has been doing this for as long as he has been, it's probably gotten increasingly worse, where he's having to really go out
like
of his
weirder
way.
and creepier. And
Yeah, like almost making sure that they're straight and never done anything before.
chasing that sexual dragon. He's got to keep increasing the thrill. You know, if it's good on Tuesday, it's got to be better on Wednesday. That's how you get into trouble here. All right, Travolta's rep again. They're denying it. The unidentified male says that this happened in Atlanta, Georgia on January 28th. He did an in-room massage on Travolta. Travolta was staying on the 15th floor of the upscale resort. Again, this is exactly like the Four Seasons story that I heard. Exactly like it.
This is unbelievable.
And by the way, Kelly and I have never wavered on this story. The person, when they told it to us, was so sincere, was so, there was not a doubt in our mind that this person had this experience.
Yeah.
So, and now this again, upscale resort, calls for an in-room massage. This is what he does. Okay. So he's staying on the 15th floor of the upscale resort, and he was referred to as Mr. White. Mr. White. What was he? I was trying to think. He wasn't in Reservoir Dogs.
No.
Okay, because those are the guys that all did Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Mr. Gray, yeah. But he did play the brother of Michael Madsen. Like the Michael Madsen character in Reservoir Dogs. Was he Mr. White? I don't know. But that character's brother was the character he played in Pulp Fiction. One was Vic Vega and the other one was like Tony Vega or something. But they were supposed to be brothers.
Wouldn't it be great if we like cracked John Travolta's code?
Yeah, the sex code.
We would be able to tell exactly where and when he's going to be ordering his next masseuse.
The alleged victim alleges that while working at an unspecified resort in Atlanta back in January, he was called to an in-room massage on Travolta. Travolta was listed as Mr. White. The plaintiff, this is the masseuse, doesn't normally do in-room massages and asked a coworker to take the assignment, but he declined because, quote, Travolta has been banned from a spa that the coworker used to work at in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Now, did I not say yesterday that I believe he was banned from the spa at the Four Seasons?
Yeah.
All right.
How many do you think that he is banned from?
I don't know. That's the question, right? How many of these? I'm sorry, that was me. I hit the.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But he's got to be banned from spas from coast to coast. It's seeming like because he's got one in Dallas that I heard he was banned from. Apparently, he's banned from another one in L.A. and now something in Atlanta.
How bad does it have to be for you to be that high power whenever it comes to being a celebrity, and you're getting banned from these places?
His poor wife. His poor wife. She's got to read this stuff. She's got to go. I was going to say she's got to go to the grocery store, but she probably doesn't do that.
Right.
But she still circulates with other people. Oh, it's just so ridiculous. As the massage came to an end, Travolta suddenly turned on his back with his legs wide open with a full erection. He then tried to force plaintiff number 2's hand on his scrotum. Then Travolta started to grab, rub, and caress the masseuse's upper thighs and buttocks. Travolta still had an erection and wanted his abs done, but Travolta's erection was in the way, and he refused to have his penis covered up by a sheet or pillowcase. Travolta started whacking it about 15 minutes left in the session, and plaintiff number 2 said he had to go. The masseuse then complained to all of his supervisors at the resort, but no one seemed to care. Travolta allegedly then went down to the spa's offices to complain.
No.
This is where all the witnesses come in. All the witnesses saw Travolta demand that masseuse come back to his room.
Oh, my.
I'm going to make you masturbate me if it's the last thing I do.
Oh, he's still down in the lobby with a rager, towel hanging over him.
All right, so the spa agreed to send a different person up to finish the massage, but Travolta demanded that the same guy who he had just rebuffed come back and do it again. But that dude refused, and there you have it. So that's where we are. And according they can't claim he wasn't in Atlanta because according to known facts, he was in Atlanta on these dates. He was filming a movie with Robert De Niro called Killing Season. So he was there, no doubt. They can't say he wasn't there when this happened. All right, we'll be following the Travolta story. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It is the PMS show, Pugs Moran on thebarlive.com.
She probably be the odd cookie in the plastic bag, about to get crushed by a building. I flushed out the feeling of me doing the shit, cause I was leaving skid marks on everywhere I sit. I go everywhere I'm in, like I can go in, I can go anywhere. Anywhere, money more, I'm in your neighborhood. Every girl see me, thing take that iPod girlfriend, and she said I got great sex, safe sex, great sex. Better wear a latex, cause you know what that latex that I like, I'm latex. So having that, but he's so sweet, she wanted it. Like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop.
In the neighborhood, how you feeling, MCA?
It's the barlive.com PMS, the Pugs Moran show. What we're listening to here is a cool piece of audio that I found this morning. This is every opening line from MCA in every Beastie Boys song, all linked together. Let's give this a listen. So this is Adam Yauch, the great man who passed away a couple of days ago.
Beautiful
I said, I just love the way he raps. I love the sound of his voice. I love the way he's awesome. Adam Yauch. You know, it was really cool. Over the weekend, of course, Adam Yauch, MCA, the Beastie Boys, who died last week, I believe it was last Friday. Over the weekend, when you die on a Friday, you don't get the love that a lot of times you should get, because the news cycle sort of peters out over the weekend. So if you die on a Friday, Monday comes around and they're churning out, they've sort of put you on the back burner. And I was thinking, Adam Yauch and the Beastie Boys were about as important a band to my generation as, and there's probably there's a couple, there's a handful. There's Guns N' Roses, there's the Beastie Boys, there's Nirvana, there's the Clash, if you want to go on the early end. You know, I mean, there's a lot of, U2 is another one. One of those bands from my generation that was just, they just changed music. They did things differently. They weren't, they weren't Ace of Base. They weren't Milli Vanilli.
Now, what was wrong with Ace of Base?
A lot. But over the weekend, they had to sort of shoehorn the Adam Yauch tributes wherever they could, and I was really blown away by a lot of the stuff that I saw. For instance, during a Major League Baseball game, they broke to do into a commercial break. They broke and did an Adam Yauch. They showed the Beastie Boys performing, and then it just said MCA Adam Yauch and then his date. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. Why would Major League Baseball field it? And I'm like, well, because, guys love the Beastie Boys. Yeah. There's a lot of guys who love baseball who probably love that. Saturday Night Live did a really nice thing over the weekend. They went to a break, and they went to a dark screen, and then they just showed the Beastie Boys performing live on Saturday Night Live at the UFC event.
Oh, wow.
On Saturday night. Also on Fox as the baseball. So I'm wondering if there's a Fox baseball executive or Fox sports executive who was a big MCA or Beastie Boy fan. But yeah, on the UFC fight. Well, it would stand to reason. Yeah. You guys probably, roughly my age and grew up in the same era.
I'm just now envisioning a bunch of guys that are like the producers for all of these different things going, hey, we should really probably do it. He's pretty distraught over this whole thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But, I mean, obviously there was sort of a common thread that Fox Sports seemed to have. So I'm thinking there's one guy who said, we ought to do that. And he's probably a Beastie Boy fan. And he probably has some sway at Fox.
Yeah.
So, yeah, during the UFC thing, Kurt Menefee, the guy who's now back to UFC on Fox 3. First, a sad note to report. And they did this whole thing. It just felt out of place. But then, fighting as a guy. The Beastie Boys were a decidedly guy band. Boys. Well, Beastie Boys. Guys loved the Beastie Boys. They seemed to always be up for a party. They always up for a scrap. They said what they said. They had legitimate artistic integrity. I mean, they really did. This is just these were not the typical hip-hop guys who emerged from that scene, who blew all their money on gold grills and 12 Rolls Royces. These guys were involved in all kinds of amazing charity projects, and the group as a whole for 20 years has been the leading voice in Hollywood for Tibet. And that became a really thing for a while. But it was Adam Horowitz and Adam Yauch, the two Adams of the Beastie Boys, who were really behind that. So it was really kind of cool to see that this weekend, that there was sort of non-traditional tributes being paid to Adam Yauch, who unfortunately died on a Friday. And had he died on a Tuesday, we'd probably seen Piers Morgan do something on it. But that didn't happen.
That's the way it usually happens. I did see a airport was also doing a little bit of a little thing in his honor.
An airport?
Yeah, when on the sign, I guess there was a bunch of flights that were running late, and this is really cheesy, but they're going for it. It was, you have to fight for your right to depart.
All right, very good. Sure. All right, let's move on. I've got another story here that I wanted to talk about, because this is accompanied by some very funny audio. Do you know who Catherine Scalia is?
No.
She's 45 years old. She's from Long Island. And she sells hot dogs across from the Pep Boys, from a hot dog stand. She's got like a truck. She's got like one of these. And she is awful. She is just, she is not good. 45 looking 75. She does not look good. And she was arrested from her little hot dog truck. She's selling more than hot dogs.
Is she?
She is.
That doesn't look like a face that's selling more than hot dogs.
Oh.
looks a lot like a catcher's mitt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, catcher's mitt with mascara.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, what police say she was doing was she was selling hot dogs, but then she would also hand out business cards, and she claimed that she was a stripper. But the business cards had her number, and basically she's a prostitute. Guys would come over, she was wrangling business. First of all, I couldn't eat a hot dog this woman handed me. I would be like, oh, I've lost my appetite.
Yeah.
Because she's not only unattractive and really aggressive and everything that I don't like about a woman, classless. There's no elegance there, nothing. She's just a total Long Island chick,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she is.
It is a rare breed that you're able to go to that level if you're from that area, apparently. There's just nothing hot about that. There are certain girls in Long Island that are able to go so far south that they turn into this girl.
Yes, they do. And she was released from jail after the police busted her. Apparently, an undercover cop took her card, called her up to her place, and claims that they had sex. But this broad is hysterical. This woman is awesome. I can't wait to see. I hope we see more from her. Let's give it a little bit of listen. This is her. It's pretty long, and she's just kind of ranting, and she's playing to the cameras and the assembled media. But this is her being released from jail. This is the hot dog bikini selling prostitute chick. Here we go.
Bikini top, selling my hot dogs. They do it in Florida. They can do it in New York too.
So today, when the judge said, "Do you plead guilty to prostitution?" You said,
I said
"Oh,
no.
here,
I'm
walk
a
with us
stripper."
towards the parking lot.
I don't think indecent exposure is prostitution. I don't see it.
Come in the parking lot. We're going to do this. Talk to us. Come in the parking lot.
I don't see indecent exposure prostitution. There's no sexual act. If a guy could walk down the street with no shirt on, how can I?
No! No! Put it on!
Listen, if a guy could walk down the street with no shirt on, so can I. And if he don't get charged for prostitution, why should I?
All right, keep pausing
Am I
for a
correct?
second. All right, so here's the problem that's going on. She just pled guilty with the charge of prostitution. And now she's walking out going, no, I pled to strip. First of all, there's no charge of stripping.
Yeah.
You were charged with stripping. Stripping is legal. You can do that as long as you're at a gentleman's club or in the privacy of someone's home. Doesn't matter. You get and come on, Catherine. Is it Catherine? Catherine? Really gonna play that argument? If a guy can walk down the street without a shirt on, I should be able to do the same. Since when, you dumb bitch? Come on! This is the way society has been for hundreds of years. Stop it, you dumb bitch! Stop and put your shirt on. You know what she is? She's one of these chicks, and I hate when this happens because you have seen these women out there, Jimmy Ryan. These women who. They got nothing going on. They're just awful, but they got big tits. And they think that because they got the big tits, somehow that makes up for the other train wreck that's going on all over their body. This is that woman.
It absolutely is.
Did you see her? You're watching the video. She's like flaunting her boobs to the camera. She's like bending over and, getting to cleavage shot. I'm like, oh, disgusting.
Somehow she found a way to be the most proud woman to ever walk out of court.
Yes.
I don't understand how she's done this.
Yes. All right, let's go back. Let's listen to a little bit more. This, again, is the woman who was basically prostituting herself out of her hot dog truck in Long Island.
Can we all move back a little down the ramp? Is that all right?
Is there a problem with this?
Well, yeah, because we're not.
Okay, guys, indecent exposure is not prostitution. I just want you to know that.
You gotta come in the parking lot.
I've been a topless dancer.
It's.
Oh, is it buffering? All right. She's saying now she's about to tell you where she's been a topless dancer, and she worked there until they closed. I wonder why they closed.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I can't imagine.
She's there. Look, just for theirs, I hope you were at least a day shifter, because there is no way that any strip club could survive if you're a main eventer, a primetime dancer.
Yeah, I've seen bad ones, but this one really does take the cake. This one would be the one that would make me have to leave.
It says here, police arrested Scalia last week and charged her with prostitution, saying an undercover cop went to her hot dog truck and then her home for a sex act. However, Scalia denied she sold sex to the police officer and said she got a lap dance. Oh, I'm sorry. And said he got a lap dance before police arrived at the scene and arrested her. this broad, she offered something. Look, you know what? A court of PMS says this broad offered something. Case dismissed. Next case.
You want to hear some more?
Yeah. Let's go back and listen to Catherine Scalia, the prostitute hot dog seller in Long Island.
House.
I do a strip, topless, lap dancing, you know, like in a strip club.
How much do you charge?
You ever go to a strip club? I charge $100.
And is that
But
legal?
topless and lap dance.
In your house.
It's in the privacy of my house. I think it's legal.
Getting back to
What's
the
all
truck,
you
you'll be
think?
back out there tomorrow.
I'll be back out there with my bikini top on selling my hot dogs. I'm right in front of Pep Boys in Baldwin and Freeport. I have loads of customers. Everybody loves me. Nobody has a problem. I have no complaints. I've been there for 2 months now, no complaints. Then I had the cops come.
Well, no, sweetie, hold on a
Listen
second.
to
Wait,
my business
there
card. Yes,
has
I
been a
did.
complaint because you were
Topless
arrested.
dance.
What do you mean, no
And
complaints?
the cop called me up and he said he wanted topless dance. And he came over my house. I gave him a topless dance like this, sexy, and I know it. Okay? I gave a little lap dance. Next thing you know, he asked me for. I had 20 cop cars there with handcuffs on me, charging me with prostitution.
When he asked, what did you say?
I said no. They don't.
I said no!
So the cops came because she said no.
Hey, right. Oh, he was obviously upset that he wasn't going to get a whatever that was. I assume it
Have
was
the
a
tape. I said, give me the tape. I want the proof. I want the proof that I was going to give this guy. They have no proof.
What did you say about all this police attention to you when there are other crimes out there?
You know what? These girls.
way to lead her,
that got
reporter.
killed
Wow, you just gave her a layup.
the beach, okay? They should find that serial killer. They're worried about a stupid stripper when they got a serial killer out there. Go find that guy. I've been a stripper all my life.
Oh, God, that's enough, Kevin. All right, we don't need to hear about how long you've been stripping. Far be it from me to agree with this woman, but she does have a point. There is a serial killer on the loose in New York, Long Island, over there, the beaches. They found numerous bodies. They're all prostitutes. They're all escorts. They're all girls that were advertising on Craigslist. The woman has a point, and I'm going to agree with her. I do not believe that we should be wasting taxpayer dollars in a sting to get the gross hot dog lady who's selling even grosser lap dances. I don't think that's a good use of taxpayer dollars. But she's funny, so we're playing her, and we're making fun of her. That's all.
So there's a guy who's going around slaying prostitutes,
Yep.
but he hasn't gotten to the hot dog lady yet.
No,
So-
no, but she's advertising.
Yeah.
Dude, she's gonna be out there in her bikini across from Pep Boys.
I mean, so really, taxpayer dollars taken into consideration. You just let this cancel itself out, and then you go pick up the guy whenever he's done.
Well, how about we catch him after he kills you, sweet cheeks? What do you say? We'll do that. We'll put a priority on him once you're out of the way. No, I mean, she is right, though. I mean, look, personally, my belief on prostitution and all that is that it should be legal. I think that it's. I don't think that we have a right to tell a woman that she can't make a couple of bucks with her body. It's her body. She can do whatever she wants. You know, if you're a guy and you can throw a baseball 90 million miles an hour, you can make all the money you want off your body. But somehow if you're a woman who's hot and a guy's willing to give you a couple $100 for a night with you, I don't believe that it's our place, society, or the law in general's place to say, no, it's my body. I can do what I want with it.
I'm totally with you, except for what I just saw. I'd like to think is illegal somehow. Like that needs to be illegal.
All right, she's going into her quick bio. This is a rundown of all that she's done.
Okay.
Let's give a listen to Catherine Scalia again, hot dog stripper / alleged escort.
I never got into problems and stuff like that. You know, I feel bad for these girls. These girls were just starting out on the Craigslist, and I've been doing this all my life, and God bless me. God bless me and my kids that I got through the stripping business alive.
You are aware that the charge you pleaded guilty to today was
Right.
a charge
Here.
of prostitution.
No, I'm not pleading.
See,
I'm
okay, that's
pleading
the
guilty to
reporter's
prostitution.
reminding her.
I'm pleading guilty to being a stripper. A stripper and a prostitute are two different things.
But you did.
All right. No,
The charge you pleaded
I
guilty to
pleaded
was-
guilty to being a stripper. That's what I am.
Did you sign paperwork saying that? Did you sign anything?
No, I didn't sign anything, but that's what I pleaded guilty to. Okay, prostitution is
Oh, here we
a
go.
sexual act.
All right.
Prostitutes have sex with men. I don't have sex with men. I just show my to men. So there's no sexual contact. So that's indecent exposure. So the only thing they could charge me with is twice indecent exposure. Because I don't have, okay, I only had sex with my husband for 15 years, okay? I've been with my husband 15 years.
Oh, lucky him.
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine you wake up with this? This is what you're waking up with?
Whatever reason, this website just refreshes every 5 minutes.
It's all right. I think we've heard enough of the lovely, the sweet desert flower that is Catherine Scalia. 45 years old. She doesn't look 45, right? I mean, she looks a lot older than that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she looks beat.
Man.
Oh, my God. She's from Long Island. She's 45 years old. I bet you she's been backstage at a Blue Oyster Cult concert. I'm just telling you. I'm sure back in the day, she was, around about 1982. She was feeling it. I think, yeah, Blue Oyster Cult's from Long Island. Yeah, whoever it was, someone, that kind of a thing. She's just, but you see what I mean? But there is nothing in this. I think it's that accent. I think the accent ruins it. There's nothing feminine about this accent.
No.
Nothing at all.
No, and my uncle lives there, and I was there with him for quite a while. And that was the thing that ruined so many different girls.
I know, right?
I mean, you would see like a beautiful girl like on the subway, and all of a sudden, like you hear her talk, and it was that. And
it's not just the way they talk. It's not just the Long Island accent. It's not that. It's the aggression in the way they talk.
Yeah.
Cockiness.
Yeah.
It's the you suck. That's like the first word most kids from Long Island or that area learn. You suck, mama. I mean, it's like that's the whole attitude. It's you suck. I'm right. You're wrong. Shut up. I'm gonna smack you. It's that whole attitude. You're an idiot. Shut up. And you can almost tolerate it from guys because it's a caricature, it's a cartoon.
Right.
But oh my God, like you see this hot chick, this like hot girl. It's always funny when you see porn stars be interviewed, because especially the ones that look all feminine and they look all sexy, and then they start to talk and they talk like this, and it's just really, it's such a distraction.
Yeah, because
Carmen Luvana is like that. If you know who Carmen Luvana is.
Nuh-uh. Where's she from?
Carmen, she's Puerto Rican and she's from New York. And she's she's got this with a little bit of Rosie Perez. So it's like really unattractive. And Carmen used to do our show. She's a really nice girl, and we actually I've been known to hang out with her, not sexually or anything like that. Because believe it or not, folks, these porn stars just don't have sex with everybody. they really do kind of just act like normal people and go to dinner and stuff, and But Carmen's a really nice girl, and her manager or boyfriend, I don't know what the hell it was at the time, but he was a really nice guy too. So they took us out to dinner. We went out, we had fun, we did all this stuff, and she's just such a lovely girl. But she too looks like she's got like kind of a Rosie Perez, kind of quick, kind of a thing, but it's with Long Island too. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my God, you just ruined it.
And you expect, I would imagine, with her that she's going to have like a really nice accent, because you're like, oh, that's going to be good.
I want her to sound like she's from Plano.
Right.
That's what I want.
Like the Southern accents, I did my best. Yeah, I did my best not to do it. Right, yeah, it's almost the exact opposite, because like with guys in Long Island, you can deal with that because, well, in my case, it usually meant that they were about to serve you really good food. Like
some pasta.
Yeah, they were like this arrogant asshole, but they were going to serve you lasagna, and it was going to be great. But like here, like I can't stand a guy with a Southern accent. But you take a really cute girl, kind of like Britney Spears or something like that. She has that really kind of, fun Southern accent.
It's cute.
I'm all for it.
It's so cute. But, it's also the culture. The Southern culture prepares its women to meet their womanly duties head on. Southern girls are feminine. Southern girls put makeup on to go to the store. Southern girls are just exactly what we want girls to be. Now, they're also ridiculously high-maintenance bitches, but, that's all right, because I would rather have a high-maintenance girl, because most girls, they're supposed to be high-maintenance. I'd rather have a high-maintenance girl that can at least, do well at a cocktail party. Right. I don't want to bring this broad to meet my boss. So you're the jag-off that's always making him stay late. I don't want that. That is awful.
Yeah, most Long Island girls would be able to pull off having a cigar at a party.
Yes. Or belching. Yeah, I imagine they all belch.
Yeah.
You know, when guys sitting around at a bar having a belching contest, they're the kind of girls that get involved.
Yeah, they jump into the circle and start
And not because
outdoing
it's
everybody.
cute. You know, like the Southern girl would try, and she'd let out a little, like a little thing. But, this broad from Long Island, she'll do the alphabet. It's like, that's not what I want. Let me tell you something else. I'm going to throw my people under the bus. It wasn't until I moved down here to Texas 12 years ago that I realized that Chicago has one of the ugliest accents on the planet. And now when I talk to people, girls that I know are beautiful, and I hear them like on the phone or something, it's like, oh my God. Well, how would that? Very hot. What's the Geico commercial? You know the Geico commercial where they think, oh, well, it's kind of like that's what it is. It's kind of like my attorney. It's all very hard R's and hard vowels, and, someone's got talent. There's a talented girl over there. It's something like that. These and those and that's and these and this is how they talk up there.
Oh, wow.
And even the girls, the girls got this kind of thing going on.
Oh, no.
And it is a boner killer, man.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Well, all right, so congratulations to all of us here in the South. Texas in particular. Texas has great accents. And that is comparing it to the Arkansas and all because some of them are bad.
Yeah.
Some of the Deep South accents are bad. North Carolina is awesome. Georgia is awesome. Louisiana is awesome. And Texas is awesome. Everything else... everything else is like, yuck. I'm Berlin. I don't want that. I don't want to be any Berlin from outside Little Rock. All right. Well, we've determined that the Southern accent, at least in certain parts of the South, is the best. Although not the best.
Not the best?
I think the absolute best is an Irish accent, like a really soft, lilting girl from Ireland or Australia. Australia does it too.
I'm English. English has...
I like English. They're all in there.
Because English is much softer than Australia usually. Like, Australia almost does have, like, a roughness to it.
No, you're right. Australia is sort of the hillbilly of the English sort of accents.
Yeah.
But you know what I like, and why I said the Irish first? Because everything that the Irish is all up and down. It's very lilting. It's lyrical.
Yeah.
It's almost sweet. Can I help you? You owe me $20 and you've got to be paying me. That doesn't sound threatening.
No.
That sounds very nice. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to reintroduce an old staple of the show. Jimmy Ryan coming up after a quick break here on the PMS show. We're going to be doing a douche tournament. We've got 3 people. We've got to determine who is the douche of the day. And I got a watch list for you and a whole bunch more. All that coming up. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, thebarlive.com. It's thebarlive.com. PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. Hour 2 of episode 1. Welcome. Please tell your friends. We'll be back doing this every day, noon to 2, right here at thebarlive.com. Check out the Facebook page as well. Let me see. Let me go over to the Bar Live Facebook page, see what's happening there. All right. We need to get them friend likes up, folks. I know this is a brand new outing here, but we need you to help us out. This is extremely important. Got to get these likes up. Tell your friends. Come on, let's get a little something going. You're sitting at work. I have been your work buddy for over a decade. I know you have all gotten used to listening to me and Kelly or me and whoever else or whatever for the past 10 to 12 years. Do it again. Pick it up. New media. It's on the way. TheBarLive.com is Dallas' first and only, because everyone else is afraid to do it, full-on guy talk station. What do I mean by guy talk? Well, obviously we're going to cover current events because that's my thing. I love talking about what's happening in the news, but it's a decided guy bent to it. You know, like, we'll focus on the prostitute hot dog selling lady, stuff like that. John Travolta being creepy, you know, stuff like that. We're not going to get into heavy news unless it's warranted, you know. I mean, certainly there will be some breaks. We're not going to do a whole lot of sports because, quite honestly, folks, if you want sports, see ya. You know, there are so many other opportunities to hear really high-quality sports. Look, you know what? If you want to hear some high-quality sports talk in the middle of the day, go listen to Elf on 105.3. He's a great guy. They do an amazing show. They're fantastic over there. But don't come here. But I will say this. How about a round of applause for Josh the Addict Hamilton? Oh, my God.
What happened here?
You didn't see this last night?
No.
Unbelievable. I had friends. I was doing some other stuff. I was working on some stuff for the show. What with this being the inaugural broadcast, I had a lot of stuff to do. So I had the game on. And I was flipping between a game, listening to the CDs that I was pulling stuff from, and the Bulls game, the Bulls and 76ers game. My phone started blowing up. Dude, Josh Hamilton has hit 3 home runs, 3 at-bats, 3 home runs. So I had to put the game on, and I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. I've been watching baseball since the early 1970s as a little itty-bitty kid, and I have never seen a guy hit 4 home runs in one game and a double.
Jeez.
The guy was out of his skull.
I don't even watch baseball, but that is unbelievable.
I believe
I even know that.
No one has hit 4 home runs in a Major League Baseball game since 1971 or something like that. I mean, I saw some stat on SportsCenter, and there's been like 300 million innings of baseball play, or some ridiculous amount of games or whatever, where this hasn't happened. And now Josh Hamilton last night against the Baltimore Orioles, and I don't know, you a baseball fan? I don't know if you're a baseball fan.
No. I'm half a man when it comes to sports. I watch football, but that's
Football,
basically it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I'm a big baseball fan, and I gotta tell you, I could not. I got a problem because I got a 3-year-old son. And I am a diehard. Here are my baseball teams. All right, I'll let you know my baseball teams. Number 1 are the Chicago White Sox. They've always been my team. They will always be my team. First game, you know, all of that stuff. Chicago White Sox. That's what I live and breathe. But I've also always been a Yankee fan because my grandfather was a Yankee fan for some weird reason. So I've always had the White Sox and the Yankees. Then I moved down here and I started going to Ranger games. So I've had to sort of elevate the Rangers now above the Yankees. So now my pecking order goes White Sox, Rangers, Cardinals, Yankees. Because I always got to pigeonhole the Cardinals in there because they're my National League team.
So that's just based on National League? Like that's the team that you go for? Or how did they get that ranking for you?
Because I'm from Chicago. We have 2 baseball teams. You either like the White Sox or the Cubs. I absolutely hate the Cubs, and the Cubs' biggest rival is the Cardinals.
Okay.
And St. Louis is not far from Chicago at all, so you know there's a lot of people who are Cardinal fans up in that area. And I just adopted the Cardinals probably about 20 years ago, just because my friends who were Cub fans. It drove him nuts. That I would show up wearing a Cardinals hat or, talking about McGuire, how he's going to beat Sosa in the home run rate, that stuff. It was greatness. So congratulations to Josh Hamilton. He had an amazingly huge night last night as the Rangers take care of the Baltimore Orioles. Rangers are good, man. Rangers are real good.
I know that they never seemed to even go into the playoffs, and suddenly they were people that were going to the World Series.
2 World Series in a row. They lost them both, and that sucks. But you would assume, or you would worry that there would be some kind of a hangover starting the next season after going to the World Series twice and losing. They've come out of the gates on fire. I believe they're the best in baseball. Actually, they may not be the best. I think they're down 1 game on the best team in baseball, but they are unbelievable. The Orioles aren't a bad team either. So, good game last night.
I can definitely tell that they're doing well because people are still talking about them. And here in Dallas,
they're doing really well.
Yeah,
really like shockingly well. Like I get the impression that a lot of people, especially diehard Ranger fans, who would always be the loudest, they're not even talking because they can't really believe what's happening. They're kind of diehard Ranger fans are kind of like, okay, starting to hyperventilate here. Yeah. Can we really be this good? Can we really be? So they're kind of not even believing it themselves. But yeah, the Rangers look unbelievable. The pitching looks unbelievable. Oh,
nice,
really good, really good. So congratulations to the Rangers.
Yeah, hopefully they don't turn into the Bills of baseball where they just keep on going to the World Series and losing. Because that would be pretty devastating for the people around here. Yeah.
Wouldn't that suck?
Yeah.
One of my best friends is from Buffalo, and he's a diehard Bills fan. And I feel bad for him because Emil, we all know Emil.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him because he can't. When you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills, and conversely now, if the Rangers were to lose 3 in a row, it would fall on you Rangers as well.
Yeah.
You can't say really anything because every other team has a championship, most likely. So if you're arguing with a guy who's got a championship, I can shut down my friend who's a Bills fan by going, what's your record in Super Bowls? Second place is first loser. You can always throw that bomb at them, and they got no response. And the way that the Buffalo Bills lost a couple of those Super Bowls was like, crushing. Scott Norwood missing a field goal in overtime to win the Super Bowl. Like a 20-yard field goal, a chip shot, and for some reason it just goes a little bit wide left. It's just, wow. Yeah, you got it. But yeah, that is a real fair. They go back to the. Do you know how difficult it is? This is why the Rangers deserve all the credit in the world. Teams don't go to World Series 2 years in a row. They don't. It's not a common. They certainly don't go and lose. It's hard to get to the World Series. The Yankees certainly had a really good run, and I think the Red Sox won 2 in a 4-year span. But it's really, really difficult to even make it to the World Series. So to make it twice and lose, and then just expect that you're going to make it again. They look like they're going to make it again. They look without a doubt to be the best team in baseball, in my opinion. I know the record may not reflect that as of today, but they certainly do. So, all right. So there we go. There a little bit of sports. After I just told you if you want sports, go check out Elf on 105.3.
He'll take it from there.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to mention for you, you and I are fans of the Bobcat Goldthwait movie. What's it called?
God Bless America.
God Bless America. Yes. And people, I've been requesting that everyone see this movie. So you got to see this movie. It's great. You'll enjoy it. But now I'm on the verge of overselling it, so people are going to watch it and go, dude, you hyped it too much,
Right.
So I'm kind of trying to back off. But one of the things that is happening with this movie, God Bless America, the new film by Bobcat Goldthwait, is that people are being forced to confront their image of Bob Goldthwait. People who I'm going to read this article because I think this is a really interesting. I don't read the whole thing, but I want to read how this person sort of frames the reemergence of Bobcat Goldthwait.
Okay.
All right, so here's what it says. I need a drink. Bobcat Goldthwait, in almost every possible fashion, belongs on the list of those creatures who could only have come of celebrity in the 1980s, along with Emmanuel Lewis, Grace Jones, and Dr. Ruth. When the highlights of your popularity is that you were the star of the 2nd through 4th Police Academy movies, suffice it to say you never had your own lunchbox. Well, which is true. I mean, he didn't really have a huge career. He was kind of a fringe C-list comedian guy.
Yeah, not to deter too much, but what did this guy do?
Well, no, just wait. He's ramped up with something.
Right.
Yeah, don't get too critical on him. Because, I was reading this dude going, have you seen the movie? But no, you just gotta let this guy ramp up. All right. When the highlight of your popularity is that you were the star of the 2nd through 4th Police Academy movie, suffice it to say you never had your own lunchbox. If he's remembered for anything, it's his screeching, brain-devouring voice, a scream that appeared to be the result of Goldthwait imagining what the Muppet animals would look like on heroin. There'd be no reason to think of him now. He's not even at the level where he would show up on a show like Celebrity Apprentice. Well, I disagree. I think he's certainly at Celebrity Apprentice level. I mean, come on. They've got people I've never heard of before.
Yeah, that's true. There are some people that I've never heard of. But to be fair, I don't know who he is. I just know that he did this movie.
That's all you know of him.
Yeah,
so you and your generation, this is just who he is. You don't have any of the filth or the dirt of whatever we categorized him in 20 years ago.
No.
All right, so I'm going to read this last one to you because I think it's a really great way he ramps it up. There'd be no reason to think of him now. He's not even at the level where he shows up on Celebrity Apprentice, except for one small fact. He's among the most interesting independent filmmakers working in America right now. Very well, so I'm loving that he's getting all of this, acclaim, because it is so easy to marginalize these people. And I love Shakes the Clown. This guy goes off and talks about his list of movies, and this guy is not a fan of Shakes the Clown. He calls it unwatchable. I disagree. I think everyone should see Shakes the Clown. But Bob Goldthwait also did another movie that I had no idea until I read this article that it was his movie from 3 years ago, and it was amazing. Have you ever seen the Robin Williams film World's Greatest Dad?
No.
It's an amazingly good movie, and I hate Robin Williams.
Yeah, you too? Okay, so
I hate him. No, I can't. When I was a little kid, he made me laugh as Mork. I liked him as Popeye. But then his routine got so hack, so...
I just remember my dad was playing it, and he was like, oh, isn't he so funny? And I was just starting to hate him more and more as each time that my dad played it, as he tried to explain it to me. He's not
funny. He was great in Good Morning Vietnam. He was good in Poet Society, but that wasn't stand-up comedy. That wasn't...
Yeah, definitely.
So he started this movie, World's Greatest Dad, and I know he did another movie called Sleeping Dogs Lie. Have you ever heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That's one that I saw, and I knew it was his movie, but I didn't particularly like it that much. But still, I thought it was better than, most everything else you see. Sleeping Dogs Lie is about a guy who is dating a girl, and he finds out that the girl had sex with a dog back in college. And everything about this girl would defy that. Everything about this girl, you would go, that is such a lie. And the movie is really a deep movie about sort of reconciling that whoever you're with has passed, and you love the person you're with now, not necessarily, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I had a friend, this is funny, I had a friend who had a wife, and I won't say any names here, but he was very distraught after going to her high school reunion and finding out that she was a dork in high school. He was very distraught about that. He was like, dude, I think she was a dork. I think she was like a nerd. I'm like, and she's beautiful. I mean, she's a beautiful 35-year-old woman now. I'm like, but she's not a dork. She hasn't been a dork. We've never known her as a dork. She's hot. She's smart. Okay. So people do have a hard time reconciling the past. I don't want to know the past.
Yeah.
I don't care to know.
Because nothing ever good comes from that. I mean, you're not going to find out something about her past and be overwhelmed with excitement all of a sudden. If you know her, you probably know the best aspects. If you go to the past, there's probably going to be nothing but the bad stuff.
Just leave it alone. Our present and our future is all that matters.
Yeah.
I don't care about the past. Oh, here's a little description of the movie Sleeping Dogs. The first film he did was called Sleeping Dogs Lie, which stars Melinda Page Hamilton, and had the most ridiculous premise imaginable. A woman falls in love and confesses to her fiancé that back in college, as she put it, I blew a dog. In Goldthwait's hands, this ridiculous premise turned into a surprisingly intelligent contemplation of relationships. Of trust, of what is really meant, or what it really means to accept your partner's past. That's true. That's exactly what I just said. That's what that movie was about. I mean, it was a shocking and provocative premise to jump off from, but really the entire movie was just about, you got to, you're in love with someone now. You can't. It was such a drastic one. I blew a dog.
Right. Yeah,
Maybe you should see the movie. It's a pretty interesting little film.
I want to because it seems like he almost went into it with the idea, you know what, I really want to make this point. You can get over your spouse's or significant other's past, but I want to go about it in my own way.
yeah.
And that's definitely his own way.
By the way, it says there's a little writer note here that the film Sleeping Dogs Lie, the original title for the film was Stay. How great is that? It's got a double meaning. Works on a number of levels. All right. And then there was World's Greatest Dad. That's the other Bob Goldthwait movie that has a crazy... All the movies have these crazy jumping off points, but they're much deeper. World's Greatest Dad, which featured Robin Williams. This was really good, too. I mean, I hate Robin Williams, but it was really good. Next came World's Greatest Dad, which featured Robin Williams' best performance in about 2 decades and had yet another batshit premise. Failed author turned school teacher Williams comes home to find his a-hole son dead from autoerotic asphyxiation. He covers up the death to make it look like a straight suicide and then discovers his son has become some sort of nationwide martyr for bullied children. And he basically runs with it. His son wasn't bullied, but it somehow comes and he becomes this sort of spokesperson and it helps his career. He basically uses his son's death to sell books. But it's a really, I mean, it is the definition of dark comedy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not what, like God Bless America was dark comedy. And that's what this is. So if you haven't seen God Bless America yet, you're probably going to want to check it out because it is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that, I want to be a lot better at this because I always say like at least 15 times a day, somebody asks me if I've seen something, watched something, and almost every time it's no. But I did go out of my way because of the way that you explained how this movie was. I watched it immediately as I got home and definitely did not regret it. It's one of my favorite movies now. So,
all right, well then what you've got to do is you've got to do Sleeping Dog Lie.
Sleeping Dogs Lie,
also known as Stay.
Yes.
And you've got to do what was the other? World's Greatest Dad.
Okay.
World's Greatest Dad is really good. And I saw it, and I watched it, and it was kind of these things, all right, I'll check this out. Because I read the description, and I went, oh, that sounds kind of weird, but it's Robin Williams. But it was good. You'll like it.
Okay.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We got a little douche tournament. We'll be awarding a Douche of the Day trophy every single day to someone. If you're familiar with the old Pugs and Kelly show, we used to do this from time to time. We're going to make it a daily staple here. Primed for a sponsorship. A daily staple here, the douche of the day, but we're going to start it out with a douche tournament, okay? I'm going to give you a couple of guys who are making news, who did some things, and then we'll determine which one is the biggest of all these douches, okay?
Okay, interesting.
All right. The first one comes to us here in our own backyard. You like dumb criminals, Jimmy Ryan?
Always.
Oh, love the dumb criminal story. I don't know that this is a dumb criminal or if this is just an insane criminal because the level of stupidity to what this kid did, it goes far beyond dumb. It's like he wanted to get. It's like I don't understand how these things happen. So you know what this kid did? And by the way, this comes to us from CBS DFW. Wilmer. You know where Wilmer, Texas is? Is that somewhere up north?
It's one of those places that sounds far. That's basically the way I describe most of these cities.
He's in Dallas County Jail, so it can't be that far.
Can't be too far then.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find this.
Keith Ann. Keith, spelled normal like Keith, with Ann on the end of it.
You were asking for problems.
What would you do that for?
Yeah.
This is a phenomenon in the black culture, the black community. Yeah, they have to jazz up a name somehow. They got to add a la. Like his name isn't Bobby, it's La Bobby. You know,
right?
Like, what are you doing?
and then sometimes they actually hold on to that, and this is what happens. They end up in Wilmer, Texas.
Where is Wilmer? Did you find it?
Yeah, it's just down for people that are familiar. It's 45 just south of 20. So it's kind of in that area.
Okay. So
heading towards Houston.
Not too far. Keith Manuel is sitting inside the Dallas County Jail Tuesday night waiting for someone to believe him. He said it was a joke, he told investigators. He didn't really want to rob that police station. This dude walked into a police station with a gun, approached the uniformed officer behind the bulletproof glass at the dispatch thing where you walk into a police station, pulled a gun and robbed her. Wow. Of course, she didn't give him anything. She just picked up the phone because she's behind bulletproof glass. She picked up the phone, called a bunch of other cops, and the lobby was flooded with armed cops in like a matter of seconds.
Unbelievable.
I'll read you the description. Police say the 18-year-old walked into the Wilmer Police Department Saturday evening with a white towel covering his hands. Police Chief Victor Kemp described the incident saying, yeah, well, a young man walked into the lobby, approached the dispatch window, and told the communications officer, give me all your money. After pointing a towel-covered hand at the officer and making the statement, Manuel soon changed his tune and claimed he was there to get some information. He said, quote, he wanted to check on the status of a warrant, okay? But it was pretty obvious that was not the situation he was there for. He gave a different name, and after a few moments of maybe playing it off, he said, you do know I really have a gun, though. And at that point, he seemed to be quite serious, according to Chief Kemp. The dispatcher then called for officers immediately. The officers arrived and were able to take him down at gunpoint. The kid, he's not a kid, he's 18. Manuel didn't have a weapon, but dispatcher Patrice Hewley said otherwise, recalling the teen telling her, well, you know I have a gun, right? So he claimed to have a gun. He walked into a police department. Well, I mean, honest, this is why I say I don't even know if this is dumb.
Yeah.
This sounds like a dare. This sounds like...
Yeah, or you knew how this was going to end. You already had this process and you went for it. You had to either just want to go to jail or like this is I don't understand how this happens.
But apparently he didn't want to go to jail because they had to use force to take him down in the lobby of the police department. All right, so there we go. That's one. That is douche contestant number 1 in our douche tournament. Are you ready for number 2?
Yes.
All right, this one is funny. This one is funny because the headline, you know there's more. Something's being left out of this story.
Uh-huh.
Man stabbed friend during argument over who has the most sex. No, I have more sex. No, I have more sex. I'm going to stab you.
Have you ever had one of these friends that are constantly wanting to find out where they stay or where they stand?
Where they stand
with
in the
their
pecking
friends?
order, in the sexing order?
Yeah.
I know the type, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I guess these were two that were locked in the same room together.
This was a 54 and a 41-year-old guy.
Oh.
You know?
So it wasn't even like two college drinking buddies.
No, this is a 51 and a 54 and a 41-year-old guy. An argument between two South Carolina men over which one of them can have the most sex ended Sunday with a stabbing. Calvin Bernard Hill, not to be confused with sporting great Calvin Hill, was arrested on felony battery charges after an altercation in the back of a PT Cruiser being driven by a female acquaintance. All right, so chick's driving, these two dudes are in the back seat, and they're arguing over who can have the most sex. Hill stabbed the 41-year-old victim in the ribs after they left the party. So they leave the party, they get in the car, they start driving. They start arguing, well, maybe it was about some chick at the party. I could have got her. No, you couldn't get. Here's how I think it went. Well, man, why are we leaving, man? I could have had her. Man, you couldn't have had her. Because these are old black guys. Man, you couldn't have. And that's my old black guy voice. Man, you couldn't have had her. Man, you don't know. I get bitches left and right. Oh, you front. You know, and then they start all that. It's like, you ain't been laid in a year. And something like that probably struck close to home to one of them. You know, because obviously people who always brag about getting sex are the ones that don't. You know, they don't. And then a stabbing occurred. Interviewed at the hospital, the victim, whose name was redacted from the police report, said that he and Mr. Hill got into a verbal altercation about who can have the most sex. A tussling match occurred in the backseat of the car, and he ended up being stabbed, recalled the victim, who was initially found bleeding profusely by a cop. See, I love this, too. The cop's name was Captain Morgan. These two drunk guys get into a fight in the back of the car. One dude gets stabbed, and remember there's a girl driving, so you know what she does?
What's that? I still have this picture in my head of like this stabbing going on, and all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, there's a cop doing the stance of Captain Morgan on the back of his car.
Now, the girl who was driving the car pulled the car over. They kicked the stabbing victim out of the car and sped off as she yelled, "I ain't going down for this!" All right, so there you have it. That's it's douche contestant number 2. Remember the first one?
Wow, yeah.
Was the kid here in Wilmer who tried to rob the police station.
Man, these guys have really made it a good contest.
Oh, yeah. It's a good contest. Yeah, let's take a quick break here. We'll come back with the third contestant in today's Douche of the Day tournament. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. It's Pugs, PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, here every day, noon to 2, on thebarlive.com. It is PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com every day, noon to 2, right here. Check out the podcast if it's more convenient for you. Go to thebarlive.com. Also, there are ways for you to listen. How do people listen from their phones? Can you walk them through that real quick?
Yes, right now you can, from your phone, you can go to thebarlive.com, and then there should be a link there that'll say listen live or podcast. Hit that. And then there's a link that says Listen Live. You can click that and listen to it on your iPhone or Android device.
Okay, so if you have a smartphone, there's probably no problem there in listening or figuring that out.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Let's see. We're in the middle of a douche tournament here. We've covered the first 2. We'll do 3. Typically, we'll do 3 a day and determine who the biggest douche of the crew is. We talked about the kid who tried to rob the police department in Wilmer, Texas. We talked about the 2 guys, 54-year-old and 41-year-old, who got into a stabbing fight in the backseat of a car over who can have the most sex. And then there's this one. This one would almost fall into its own category, as there was a story that sort of mirrored this last week, or this story sort of mirrors one from last week, I guess is the right thing to say. Last week there was, I'm obsessed as a father, I'm obsessed with these bad parenting decisions that I see, these things that people do. And I'm lost. I mean, I just don't understand how people. Last week there was an old grandpa and grandma who tied a little kid's car to the back of their SUV and were driving around on the streets with the kids in the little kid's car being towed by the SUV.
Now, are these like older people that are senile and now they're forgetting?
No, these were not that old. Well, I mean, I don't know what their mental state is. But obviously, they make bad decisions, but they weren't ridiculously old.
Yeah.
And their excuse to cops when pulled over was, "But the kids thought it was fun."
Oh.
Yeah, the kids think a lot of things are fun that they can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'll
So
go play in the highway. It's a lot of fun.
it was awful. What kind of an adult would make that kind of decision? What could go wrong? We'll just truck on down the road. We'll tie the kid's little racing car to the back of our SUV. Hey,
Yeah, look at his smile as Johnny goes flying off the side into a curb.
Hit a rock. Hit anything. Not to mention, I don't know how long the rope was, but you're busting out all that carbon emissions in the kid's face, as you know. You know what I mean? I mean, that can't be good for the kid. All right, so that's not the story, but that came from last week. This is the story from today. This is coming from, relatively speaking, my old stomping grounds, Fort Wayne, Indiana. An Indiana man, Jimmy, accused of driving 3 blocks with 4 children strapped to the hood of his car, was being held in jail Tuesday on charges of drunken driving and negligence.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Got a 4-year-old, got a 5-year-old, got a 6-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Okay? 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's a busy couple. This 4, 5, 6, and 7. If that's all the same mom, whoo.
Last week, I was at a gas station and I was putting gas in the car. I just casually put my Monster up on top of the car, pump up the gas, get into the driver's seat, and I drive off. My Monster just went to the side and was spraying all over the place.
Yeah.
What an idiot I am! I thought to myself as I did this.
Yeah, you got nothing. You got nothing on these folks in Fort Wayne.
You got most likely these are kids that they aren't walking. They're very young, right? So they're probably crying on top of
4, 5, 6, and 7.
Wait, how are they strapped to the top of the
with a bungee cord?
What?
I know.
I was automatically assuming that they were like in baby carriages, and you just put them up there.
No. They were laying on their bellies on the hood of the car,
and he's drunk.
And this began as he exited a liquor store. They all came out of a liquor store, and witnesses saw him putting the kids on the hood of the car, and then drive off.
Well,
and he was wasted. He was 3 times over the legal driving limit. Which, first of all, you don't drink and drive with your kids. You're gonna drink and drive, whatever. Look, it's America's dirty little secret. Everybody has 1 beer too many and decides to drive home. Everyone has done it. Don't stand there. But this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. First of all, 3 times the legal limit isn't having 1 beer too many.
Right.
And deciding it's time to hit the road.
Yeah, this is one of those guys that this is probably commonplace. I mean, like, the only reason why he got caught is because he ran out of liquor this time and needed to go restock.
A witness called police Monday evening after seeing a man and a woman using a tow strap bungee cord to tie the children to the car in a liquor store parking lot. Do you know that I have gone to a liquor store with my son? Like, I've had to go into a liquor store and he's been with me, so I've had to bring him in. And I felt like a sleaze. Like, I just don't think kids belong in liquor stores. I don't know.
Because I think that it's half the fault of the owners of the liquor stores, because there is something sleazy about the inside of a liquor store.
Always, right?
Yeah, like there's that smell. It's not even like a Walmart warehouse.
Some are nice. Some of the bigger chain places, but you're right. Most liquor stores, there's some dude behind the counter of some ethnic origin. You're not sure.
Either that or
he's got an accent.
He's an alcoholic, obviously, and he's just like waiting for the time to end. Like I've seen those guys too.
Oh, like the drunks who work at the liquor store?
Yeah.
Keep them closer to their babies.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you can tell whenever you're going up there and like maybe you got like a bottle of vodka and like they're just eyeballing it the entire way to where you walk up to them. Like, they really are waiting for that ending buzzer so that they can get that exact same bottle and go home. That's the place that you normally don't want to bring your kids.
Do you have any drunks in your family?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky that I'm not a drunk.
Well, I grew up with them, so like I think that I made sure that I can definitely drink with the best of them, but it's always in the back of my head. I can't do this too many days in a row.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't like to drink. I really don't. I mean, what I like is I like being social. I like the fun and the hanging out and all that stuff. And if I'm out and we're having fun, I'm gonna get drunk. But I can't tell you the last time I was drunk. Honestly, I can't. I mean, it's not. I don't drink at home. I bought like a 12-pack of Natural Light like 3 weeks ago. I still got like 9 of them. So it's not like I don't come home and drink.
So you aren't you aren't waiting to get home to get to your Natty Lights or
anything.
Yeah,
no. As a matter of fact, if I'm sitting on the couch relaxing watching TV, look, alcohol doesn't taste good. I've had this argument with people before. They're like, oh, it tastes so good. No, it doesn't. Look, beer tastes tolerable, but it doesn't taste good.
Yeah. It
tastes soapy and bitter and salty, and it's not great.
Yeah, you're there for the experience. Yeah, and nobody's drinking near beer because it tastes good.
You give now I was giving bad parenting advice. You give a child a taste of alcohol and you see how they act.
Yeah.
They're not go, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to be, ugh.
Until you just keep on forcing them.
My kid does like beer. He likes to take a sip of beer every now and again.
Yeah.
That's about all he's had.
He's built up a palate.
Yeah.
for good beer.
Yeah, he's 3. That's all he's had. All right, so witness called police Monday evening after seeing a man and a woman using a tow strap bungee cord to tie the children to the car in a liquor store parking lot and then drive away. Apparently, they were traveling a short distance, and he believed that the kid would enjoy it. Well, I'm sure they would. Like I said, the kids will enjoy all kinds of asinine, lunatic things.
Yeah.
It's the parents' job to sort of weed that stuff out as far as options go.
Yeah, I already lost friends when I was kids doing this early on. You guys don't have to go through that.
Do you know what my version of this would be? My kid's child seat. My kid hates his child seat. And we've got a grocery store probably about 3 blocks away from where we live, and you never go on a real road. You go on, you're going through a neighborhood, 20-mile-an-hour neighborhood to get to the grocery store. And my kid hates getting buckled into his car seat. So my version of this would be, if the kid is really throwing a freaking fit when I'm trying to get him back into the car, I'll only buckle one of the straps because I'm only going 3 blocks, and he needs to be, because if he's not strapped in, then he's climbing all over the place. He wants to sit in the front. He wants to play with the wheel. It's crazy. That is not an option. The kid has to be kept, but I won't full metal buckle him in because we're only going 3 blocks, and I'm never going to reach a speed higher than 20 miles an hour. So, we're really everything's fine. All right, so that's it. We've got 3 douche of the day candidates here. Jimmy, I'm going to ask you to help me whittle through these to find our douche of the day, our first douche of the day on PMS. Again, we've got the 18-year-old guy in Wilmer, Texas, who tried to rob the police station in Wilmer, Texas on Saturday night. We've got the 2 dudes in North Carolina, 54 and 41, who got wasted at a party and in the backseat of a car on the ride home. One stabbed the other guy over who could have more sex. And, of course, the third one, we have these parents who strapped 4 kids to the hood of their car. Jimmy, I'm going to ask you to work through this with me. Just off the top of your head, who is the biggest douche?
To me, it would have to be the man from Wilmer, Texas. And the reason why is because there was no out for him. By the end of the night, there was no end result that would have been nice. At least the guy that was strapping his kids to the top, he was drunk. Him and the kids were having a crazy
Making
time.
Excuse. Yeah, okay. There is a way to spin that. Like, well, he's irresponsible, but he's fun dad.
And if he doesn't get caught, everyone gets home, hopefully safely, and at the end of the night, that's it. But
are you agreeing with me on that? On the guy with the kids? That's a whole other issue anyway. That's less douchey and more disturbing.
Yeah.
That he would make that. Okay. So we've now eliminated the 4 kids strapped to the car. So now we're down to the guy that stabbed the other guy over who could have more sex, and the kid who robbed the police department in Wilmer.
Oh, see, this is the one that was really tough for me because you got. I think that the only reason, again, why the guys stabbing each other over this whole thing is that maybe, again, they're drunk.
That's the douchiest thing. Don't you stab a guy because he says he can have sex more than you?
It is. But again, maybe you didn't expect that, it's going to be as bad as it was, and your friend is going to be like, oh, remember that time you stabbed me? Maybe by the end of the night, you might be able to fix that. Whereas this guy in Wilmer just went into a police station and had no end result. He had no intentions of having a good night that night. He had to have known that was it.
But that's why I'm confused by that guy. I'm confused by that guy because there are dumb criminals and then there are just unexplainable. That's not even dumb what he did.
I know.
It's like he was asking for it, but then he put up a fight. All right, you know what? I'm going to go with you. Let's come to an agreement here. The first douche of the day on the new incarnation of my show, PMS, we will give it to Keithon Manuel of Wilmer, Texas, who attempted on Saturday night to rob the Wilmer Police Department.
Keith should be very proud.
There you go. You are the douche of the day. All right, we'll take a quick break here. Once again, we'll come back in just a minute or two. We'll give you a watch list and all the other things that we're going to be promoting here on the show. Back after this, it's PMS, Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com. It is thebarlive.com. Pugs Moran. PMS show. Every day noon at 2. Right here, Jimmy Ryan is with me as well. Check out the Facebook page. No, we're not getting enough. Wait, is this right? Am I in here right?
Yeah, you get it.
I noticed there was an echo. All right. If you're following along on the show, a good place to be would be the Facebook page, thebarlive.com, as that's where I am right now.
A lot of likes coming into it the last couple days, so that's really good.
Yeah, let's get those likes up. Come on, folks. Help us out. Tell your friends to like us. This is how we got to build this network. We're a small guy here attempting to give you a form of radio that has not existed in this town in about 5 years. We're not going to talk conservative politics. We're not going to talk sports. We're not going to do that stuff. We're just going to talk lifestyle. That's what we do at thebarlive.com. All right. Let's see. What have we done here? We've got to get into a little bit of Oh, yeah, I want to do a TV report. Every day at the end of the show, the last thing we'll do is we'll talk about things to watch on TV. I did want to mention something, though. I saw something on Comedy Central on Sunday night. It was the Comedy Awards. I think I was telling you about this.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah, you were talking to me about this.
It was preceded by a half-hour Zach Galifianakis special. If you're familiar with FunnyOrDie.com, Zach Galifianakis does a series of shorts called Between Two Ferns, where it's, you know what Between Two Ferns is?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you're not familiar with it? Okay. You know who Zach Galifianakis is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Between Two Ferns is a show that he does. It's a stage, it's 2 chairs, and then there are 2 ferns on both sides of the chairs. And it looks like an early 90s community access talk show by design. It's supposed to look really low rent, but it's always Zach Galifianakis and one big star. And it's sort of, it reminds me of the old Chris Farley show on Saturday Night Live. Where he's sitting with Paul McCartney and he's like, remember when you were in the Beatles?
Yeah.
That was awesome. You know, it's like kind of like that kind of a vibe, but it's really funny because Zach Galifianakis is, he's funny. He's an a-hole. He's just like his whole...
He can make anything funny, yeah.
He gets people off balance because no one ever knows where he's coming from or what he's going to say next. And he's never serious, but he's always deadpan.
Yeah, he's a lot like, Tom Green is great, and he kind of like did that in the 90s, kind of brought that on. Because he was able to do deadpan things right in front of you. Didn't know if you were going to, take it seriously or not.
Right.
Zach Galifianakis took that and really kind of perfected it. He made it to where he was able to make jokes on top of it that were hysterical.
You're very smart sort of correlation there between the two, because you're right. Both of them rely on the victim or the butt of the comedy to be taken off balance, to not know necessarily what the proper reaction to Tom Green or Zach Galifianakis is.
Yeah.
By the way, Tom Green at the Improv this weekend, coming into town.
Right.
Yeah. Try and get him here on the show on Friday. Working on that as we speak. All right, so Zach Galifianakis did a special on Comedy Central called Between Two Ferns. Really good. You should check that out. But what it was the ramp up for the Comedy Awards. And this is a new thing. It's only the second year. It's a full-blown real award show, just like any other award show that you would watch. A-listers, I mean, if there's somebody in comedy that you like, they were at this show and they were on this stage. I mean, everybody from Will Ferrell to Don Rickles to Zach Galifianakis to Sarah Silverman to David Letterman. I mean, everybody with Jon Stewart, everybody was part of this thing. It was really good. So if you get a chance to see that, I'm sure that Comedy Central is rerunning it.
Yeah, well, it's the first time that I'm actually excited about an award show, because every single time I can't even count them all, the ones that happen throughout the year, and it's always just a bunch of rich celebrities patting each other on the back, and it's nothing. You're not allowed to be funny.
And that's the problem with award show. If you believe that comedy is high art, as I do, you're a little offended at the way the rest of the artistic community in Hollywood tends to turn their nose up at comedy, which was funny because Paul Feig, the great Paul Feig, amazing comedy writer, amazing director, he won a crudload of things at the Comedy Awards for I keep forgetting, Bridesmaids. He directed and wrote Bridesmaids, which was the big movie winner of last year at these awards. And because of what I said, because of the artistic snobbery in the other genres and the other award shows, when he got up and won, he very deadpan said, "It's nice to be in a room full of people where I'm the artist." And it was true, because among those people, he would be the artist. He's the writer.
Yeah.
But it was very good. If you get a chance to see it, I highly recommend it. It's the Comedy Award and Comedy Central. Thought it was really interesting. All right, Jimmy, what we're going to do here is we're going to call this the watch list.
Okay.
Place sponsorship here. Thank you, sponsor of the watch list.
I like it. I like them.
They're good. Yeah, check them out, please. The watch list is something we're going to do every day because I pretty much revolve my entire universe around what's on TV. I need at least 2 hours a night to sort of decompress and watch whatever I got on my DVR. So the watch list is sort of a way for us to tell you what we think is worth watching tonight. I'm going to start off with this show I don't typically watch, although I have a lot of respect for it because I'm hearing great things, and what I do watch always seems to be outside the traditional, and that's the Jimmy Fallon Show. You ever watch the Jimmy Fallon Show?
No.
He's doing some really interesting things in the late night talk show. A lot of pre-produced, a lot of like almost like digital shorts, the way Andy Samberg does. And whatever you think of Jimmy Fallon, he's a pretty funny guy.
Oh, he is. I think he's great.
Yeah, I think he's a funny guy, and he's really creative. Does great impressions. And so that show is actually a good show. I just never get around to watch it.
I know I did early on, and I was really kind of impressed because he right out of the gate was obviously appealing to a young demo, but he was pulling in people that I know of from like internet celebrities, and I was like, oh man, poor guy.
Probably because it's all he could book, those booking wars. Yeah. But yeah, he's doing interesting things. I also think, I think the best late night talk show out right now is Craig Ferguson. I think that guy is hysterical.
I always hear that, and I never give this guy a chance.
I think he's hysterical.
Yeah.
I think you talk about somebody who's turned the late night talk show format on its ass. First of all, he's so likable. He's really likable, but he's also wickedly funny. Like when he's interviewing people, he's always working towards something. And again, he's another guy that catches people off base. But what I love that he does I'm a big fan of innovation in television, people not doing the same thing. He has taken the monologue, the opening monologue, and done something really interesting with it. There is no big band. Tonight's guest, now Craig Ferguson, and he comes out of a crowd. None of that. It's very quiet. The show opens up. It's a dark screen, and then suddenly the camera comes on. It's Craig Ferguson, and he's walking to the camera, talking directly to the camera. Like the camera is the person that he's having this conversation with. And he does tricks with the camera, like he'll hide underneath it. And his patter isn't, hey, did you hear this one? Did you hear about the guy? It's not that. It's more stream of consciousness, where he's just out there and he's talking about the day. He's very funny. He's doing really interesting things.
That's good, because that whole template for like late night TV is really getting old. It needs to be reworked, and if there's gonna be some guys that are gonna change at least little parts of it up, then it's good for it.
I can't tell you the last time I watched The Tonight Show. Jay Leno offers me nothing. David Letterman, who I think is far superior to Jay Leno, is also unfortunately not someone that I watch anymore, because I watch Colbert. Colbert's on at 10:30. And that's a guy who's out of the box. That's a guy who's doing something completely different.
Is Conan also in that group now of people that are just doing the same thing?
I love Conan O'Brien. His head writer is one of my oldest friends in radio, so I want that show to be successful, but I have not even seen the new show on TBS.
Yeah, I've caught a few of them, but it just doesn't. And it's not just because he's not on NBC, or it's not because he's not doing the original Conan O'Brien show. It's losing momentum. It just doesn't feel like it's moving forward. So
it's got to do. If you're going to, the Conan O'Brien show is a good show. He's a talented guy, and his writers are amazingly talented. But it fit on NBC where it was because there was a habitual audience there that was used to something looking a certain way. Now he's moved over to basic cable. He's over on TBS now, and he doesn't have that habitual audience that, from the time they were 10 years old is used to watching Johnny Carson into David Letterman. That audience doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So you got a whole new audience, and it's a much younger audience over there on TBS, and you can't really deliver them the same meal that you were delivering their grandparents. You got to change it up. It's got to be different. I don't think that show. I mean, look at George Lopez bombed. trying to do the same thing. I mean, George Lopez was really just the Mexican Arsenio. That's all that show was. It looked exactly like the Arsenio Hall show.
And he did nothing to try to branch out and get more of an audience either.
He did nothing. He was just all about the Mexican. I want Mexican, and you know what? God love him. That was his market. And that if he could have gotten all the Mexicans in America listening, he'd still be on the air. But even they didn't want it.
Yeah, they all jump out.
It's that thing. It's like, oh, all Mexicans will listen to me because I'm Mexican. No, all Mexicans are not the same. People are different. Just because they're Mexican doesn't mean they're going to find the same things funny. I know plenty of Mexican guys who hate George Lopez.
Yeah, it turns
Most
out
of them are Mexican comics, but
those always happen too. But it does turn out that Mexicans have taste, so they don't really go for George Lopez.
Sure. Yeah, I don't find him all that entertaining. All right, the reason I brought up Jimmy Fallon is because tonight, always fun when this guy shows up on a late night talk show. Howard Stern is going to be on Jimmy Fallon tonight. That's always worth watching. He's one of the few guests that. If he's going to be on something, I'll record it just because, you never know what Howard Stern's going to do, and it's always interesting.
Now, is he promoting doing this new show that he's about to be doing?
Yeah. What is that show? America's Got Talent? Is that what it is? Something like that?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting, too, because Jimmy Fallon does a Howard Stern impression, and I wonder if they'll do something with that.
Yeah. The thing with Howard, though, is that I feel kind of... It just feels like he's in this bubble at Sirius where no one really gets to see him.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while he has to promote something, so he goes on late night TV. It's like, oh, there's Howard. How is he doing?
Yeah. See, I agree with you, and I know what you're saying. I think if I were him, I certainly am not him. He's wildly successful, and who am I to sit there and look at me? I'm broadcasting from Brandon's spare bedroom, trying to give Howard Stern advice on his career. But I would not have left terrestrial radio at the time he did. He left for a massive paycheck, but he stopped being relevant.
Completely.
He's not. He used to be quoted every day. Newsmakers appeared on that show. He made news from having certain people on that show. That just doesn't happen anymore. And it's not. And I've heard some of his serious stuff. He's as great as he has ever been. But you're right. There's a bubble there that people just.
It's crazy because I haven't listened in a really long time, but every once in a while, and man, do I have to dig deep to finally find something like this. But I'll come across a YouTube video where he's talking to somebody who's incredibly interesting or making news at that moment. So it's the greatest interview that you could pick up. But you don't hear about it anywhere.
No, you don't. It gets no buzz.
It's the same.
You have to be in the Howard Stern bubble to really have the message reach you.
Yeah, and it's the same problem that I've had whenever I was doing the old show and I get a great interview. Like one time we got one of Tiger Woods' porn star girlfriends right when the story was breaking. So this was a big interview, and we were one of the first people to actually talk to her. I was thinking this is gonna be huge for us. We
Jocelyn James.
Yes.
Yeah, we got her.
We put it on YouTube, and it just fizzled. And it's because you're in your own bubble. A lot of times you have your spread of the internet. Sirius is the exact same thing. I mean, if you're not subscribing, which there are very few that are, no one's going to hear it.
Howard Stern needs to go back to regular radio for purely selfish reasons, and that is he'll create that format again. If he comes back and anchor stations in mornings, there will be that's one of the biggest problems that we had with what Live 105.3 was trying to do here in Dallas, was that let me explain it to you. There was an entire, CBS is the network. CBS is the station owner. They owned all the stations from coast to coast. And from coast to coast, they had Howard Stern in the mornings, and then they did other forms of entertainment talk following Howard Stern. When Howard Stern left, they had that vacancy there from coast to coast. And we, in Dallas, are the only major market in all the CBS FM talk stations that didn't skip a beat when Howard left. We were fine.
Yeah, matter of fact, Howard didn't do as great in this market.
No, he didn't. The rest of the station outperformed. Kelly and I outperformed Howard, and Russ Martin outperformed Howard. So he wasn't this juggernaut. And when he left, we had the opportunity to bring in Jagger, who was better than Howard Stern for this market. You said Jagger's better than Howard Stern. No, what I said was for this market, he did better. Those are just the numbers. That's just a fact. You can't deny that. Whether your personal feelings, put them aside because it doesn't have any play here. It's about the numbers. And the fact is that the station actually picked up when Howard left, and we went live and local with shows between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yeah, people didn't dig, even though he had that name recognition, a lot of people did not care for a New Yorker being on the morning show that they listened to.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
All right, so Howard Stern tonight is going to be on Jimmy Fallon. Also, a couple other things I'll put you up here with the watch list. American Idol. Jimmy, you watch American Idol?
I don't.
Tonight, a 2-hour performance show. California Dreamin' is the theme. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of Beach Boys, a lot of mamas and the papas, I imagine. I love American Idol. Look, not to be ironic either. I'm not like ironically liking American Idol. I freaking like it. I see it as a sporting event. And unfortunately, this season, I'm in and I'm out. I'm in and out. I like this guy named Phil, but I'm not even sure if Phil is still there. I will watch tonight because we're getting down to like the final 4.
Oh, I was gonna ask like how far along we are, but this is getting into the serious part.
Oh yeah. We're in serious Idol time now. It's it's like the greatest. This is like a cutthroat. Everybody is good. I mean, at this point on Idol, the top 24, they're all good. 10 years ago when it started, you didn't. Now everybody who can sing auditions for Idol, so everybody that gets good. If you and I had a band, everybody would be usable as our lead singer.
I had a friend who was in a rock band, and they were like one of these like hardcore rock bands, and they all ended up getting really pissed off at their singer because their singer ended up going and trying out for American Idol.
Happens all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, happens all the time. Yeah, that was the situation with Chris Daughtry. Chris Daughtry, did Chris Daughtry win? I don't think Chris Daughtry won it. But yeah, he had this like real legit like rock band, and then he left them for like a long time, and then he became a huge star, and they were all like against it. They were like, "No, man, you're gonna sell us out, blah blah blah." Well, now the Chris Daughtry band is him and these losers that was, that busted his nuts, and they're all driving fancy cars and living in nice houses now. So, look, it's a business, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where talent meets luck, and if you get a chance to have luck on your side, you jump on board. I mean, American Idol is huge. It's a juggernaut.
I'll tell you the other thing that really bothers me about. I understand that there are some people who are made to feel uncomfortable with singing talent being used in a competition. Who's to say he sang that song better than that guy? It's artistic interpretation. And they're right. I mean, everything is relative when you're talking about art.
Anybody who says that, I would just hope that they get slapped in the face next.
That's the kind of stuff Dick Hunter says. It's like this real, snobby kind of, American Idol is ridiculous.
Because that's not the reason why I don't like it.
Bob Dylan would never have even passed the audition stages. No, he wouldn't, because it's a singing contest, and Bob Dylan can't sing. If it was a songwriting contest, he'd be in the finals. Why are you comparing these things? But I would like to point out to all of you American Idol haters, because this is the bomb that I usually lob once I listen to someone's long, well-thought-out dissertation on why it's ruining popular music. Do you know that if it weren't for singing competitions, we wouldn't have Elvis Presley or Frank Sinatra? Frank Sinatra is famous because he won the American Idol of his day. Harry James, who was a very famous big band guy, held a nationwide singing contest to find someone to be the new singer of the Harry James band, and Frank Sinatra won it. And Frank Sinatra, as his prize, got to go on tour with Harry James. Well, guess what? Is anyone going to call Frank Sinatra a hack or say that he didn't have any talent? He's one of the most successful vocalists in the history of music. Elvis Presley, same thing. He won a barn dance contest. He won a barn dance contest and was discovered. One of the judges was a guy that could sign artists, like an A&R guy. So just stow that crap. Stop saying it. It's all about who you know and what opportunity you took advantage of to make your success happen.
Yeah, every single time that you have like a band that gets big, the ones that are going to be honest with you are going to say that it had, maybe 35% to do with their talent. The other 65% had to do with luck, who they knew, like different situations that they were put in that they were able to take advantage of. American Idol is one of those big situational things that you can jump onto, and if it works out well, you're not going to be able to look back afterwards. It's going to be too big.
And there's a number of winners who sucked, who basically didn't have any success. But first of all, Kelly Clarkson is a legitimate pop star. She's a legitimate recording artist now. You can't just discount her anymore. She's got a number of number one hits. She sold millions and millions of records. Most people probably, if you're a 15, 16-year-old girl who likes Kelly Clarkson, you don't even know that she won a talent contest. You just like her. Carrie Underwood is the most decorated country music singer of the last decade. She is one Performer of the Year, a million. There is nobody in the country music world that thinks that she somehow doesn't deserve to be there. I mean, so there are people who have Daughtry has sold a bunch of records, whether you like them or not. That's up to you. I don't really care. And then
wasn't he there for the Super Bowl? Was he the guy that played for the Super Bowl, or was it somebody else?
Chris Daughtry? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right, at any rate, there's a 2-hour American Idol performance show. We're coming down to the end. That's the only reason I pointed out here. We've got a new Modern Family episode tonight. Are you a fan of Modern Family?
No, I've heard a lot about it, but no, I've never seen it.
Good Lord, really?
No, I don't watch anything.
It's the funniest sitcom on the planet.
Really?
Oh, it's hysterical. It's so well written. By the way, on the Comedy Awards on Comedy Central, Modern Family won a bunch of TV stuff, too.
Yeah, I've seen tons, or at least heard tons of stuff about it. Maybe I'll have to download it.
It's really good, and I'm very tough on sitcoms, especially network sitcoms. It is the best network sitcom.
Okay.
That and Community, to me, are the two best, most interesting network sitcoms.
I just got into Community, so
good.
I'll have to throw that into the mix.
All right, so anyway, the reason that this Modern Family episode is new and why people are saying you should watch it, it's being called Disneyland episode, where they all go to Disneyland, and from the reviews that I've read, they're saying that this is going to be one of the cornerstone Modern Family episodes. Like, years from now, people will talk about the Disneyland episode. Kind of like in Seinfeld, where people talk about the parking garage episode, or the Chinese restaurant episode, where the entire episode took place while they were waiting for their dinner reservation. You ever seen that one?
Yes.
I love that one. George is trying to use the phone, and somebody keeps getting on the phone. Yeah. All right. Also, another thing. Tonight, CNBC at 9 o'clock. This is going to be my last suggestion for the watch list. Tonight at 9 o'clock on CNBC, it's a brand new American Greed and Scandals. I love this show. You've heard me talk about the show, right?
Yeah, you told me about this just the other day. It's
a good show. It's an hour-long documentary. It's a dumb people documentary. It's basically it profiles. Each episode profiles someone who made a wicked buttload of money and then went to jail, and then because they did something wrong. Yeah. Tonight they're going to focus on Milwaukee crime boss Michael Locke, who I've never heard of, but apparently this guy was running a Ponzi scheme in addition to being a crime boss there in Milwaukee. All right, so that's my Pick the Click. American Greed and Scandals tonight at 9 o'clock on CNBC. Also, you're going to want to check out the new Modern Family. It's the Disneyland episode a lot of people are talking about. Howard Stern on Jimmy Fallon and American Idol, a 2-hour performance show tonight. California Dreaming being the theme. Anything you get in closing?
No, that's basically it. I'm definitely going to be checking out some of those.
All right, there you go. All of that. Every day we'll do the watch list. We did a douche tournament today. Anything we need for tomorrow? Well, we'll figure it out for tomorrow. All right, folks, there you go. You download the podcast by going to thebarlive.com. You can watch us live every single day if you need a little bit of accompaniment for your midday hours. We're here for you. Check out the Facebook page, thebarlive.com. Podcast, we covered that. And that's going to do it. See you tomorrow at noon. For Jimmy Ryan, I am Pugs Moran. It's PMS on thebarlive.com.
Don't worry about my wrist.